Your top stories this evening sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. Nizam Khan takes COI stand, denies offering money to kill President Granger. Light at the end of the tunnel for Essequibo Coast residents, says Minister Patterson. And murder of prison officer Odinga Wickham. Escapee Yuri Varswick identified as the shooter. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Tuesday, August 1 edition of the HGP Nightly News. Happy Emancipation. Here's what's happening. There is likely to be closure soon to the murder of a prison officer on July 9. An escapee has been identified as the shooter. Here is more. The men on your screen are all wanted by the police for escape from lawful custody from the Camp Street and Luziknan jails respectively. But Yuri Varswick, whenever recaptured, is likely to face a murder charge. Director of Prisons Gladwin Samuel said that based on statements now taken by officers who were on duty on July 9, it was Yuri Varswick who shot and killed the prison officer Odinga Wickham.
Varswick, who was armed with a weapon, is the person identified as shooting Officer Wickham and Officer Gonzalez. Officer Malte, who was also shot to his left leg, he gave an account that he was shot by Varswick.
Odinga Wickham was among 9 persons who were rushed to the GPHC for emergency treatment following the July 9 fire that decimated the Camp Street jail. Wickham was shot 5 times about his body.
So 3 officers who were shot on the day. Matter of fact, also Mr. Liverpool, who had a laceration to his head as a result of a bullet. All 4 officers gave the same account of being shot by Varswick.
In a recent interview with Wickham's mother, she had pleaded with authorities to find her son's killer, refuting earlier media reports that her son had been shot 4 times. Varswick, though, is not the only escapee who will face multiple charges.
It is clear, based on statements given by prisoners and officers who witnessed, as well as Mr. Trim, that he was stabbed repeatedly by prisoner Sean Collins. This is not the Collins that was at large. This is Sean Collins, who was recaptured after he escaped, and he was also chopped by Royden Williams.
To corroborate Wickham's mother's story, police learnt as well that Wickham had surrendered after a man who was positively identified as Yuri Varswick pointed a gun at him, then opened fire.
As we speak, the ranks that were on duty on July 9th, some of them are at the CID headquarters providing statements, while some persons are scheduled to give statements at 8:30 tomorrow morning. So we are in a better position whereby persons who were not being pressed for information because of their medical state, because of the significant advancement in terms of their health condition, they have been able to provide statements to the police.
Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Money laundering data, which has been collected over the years by the FIU, will be processed through the new IBM software, and after analytical steps are concluded, the information will be forwarded to law enforcement agencies for further action. Kristen Macklingam has more details.
The new software from IBM, which Guyana's Financial Intelligence Unit has acquired to boost the fight against contaminated financial activities and transactions, will help to process data accumulated over the past 2 years at a faster pace. This is according to Director of the FIU, Matthew Langevin.
The FIU's database consists of information that would have been accumulated over many years. And so all that data will be available to be analyzed by the student.
According to Mr. Langevin, the mandate of the FIU is to receive, analyze, and disseminate information, and the next steps would be up to other agencies.
Once the information is analyzed and we believe that there is enough results to demonstrate that money laundering or terrorist financing activities involved. The intelligence report is then moved forward to the law enforcement agency for investigation and possible further action.
The FIU director added that some challenges his unit has faced since its establishment were provision of human and technology resources, but that there is some improvement.
We're slowly seeing improvements over the last, I would say, 2 years or so.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingam.
You're watching the HGP Nightly News. I had no such conversation. That's what a businessman told a commission of inquiry probing that alleged assassination plot against the president. Here's more. Nizam Khan, the East Bank businessman who allegedly offered his neighbor $7 million to assassinate President David Granger, took the stand at the Commission of Inquiry probing the alleged plot. Khan denied that he ever offered $7 million to kill President David Granger, but disclosed that he had lent the accuser money in the past.
He never came in my yard since in 2014 and in Park, and they keep questioning me, and then they tell me that Andrew Gilliard made an allegation of I paid him $6 million to kill the president of Guyana, President David Granger. I told him he's lying on me. I never had no conversation in my yard with Andrew. Since 2014, he gets chased out from my yard, and he's lying. And I hire no one to do no such thing.
But when Gillard took the stand, he admitted that he had borrowed money from Khan, but instead of repaying the money, Khan allegedly showed him a long gun and told him that he could instead get $7 million if he killed President Granger. That gun in question allegedly belongs to Nizam's brother, Imran Khan.
Y'all very close?
We are brothers, but we don't get close together.
When you said that, what you mean?
We live separate places, so we don't communicate often.
I'm understand y'all live separate places. Are you just talk on the phone?
Yes, sir.
How often y'all just talk on the phone?
Regular, sir.
And when you say regular, daily,
No, sir.
weekly,
Yes, sir.
and in terms of the conversation weekly, if something comes up, arises during your weekly phone call, y'all just get on the line and talk to each other?
If we just get on the line and talk to
Y'all
each
just
other.
get on the phone line. Well, they don't have phone line anymore. I'm just talking 2017. Y'all just pick up the cell and call each other?
Yes, sir.
Nizam said that when police from CID Ivlery took him in for questioning, he was later released on bail, but he still does not know who gave the order to release him. Commissioner of Police Silal Prasad is already on record saying that he had offered an opinion on the granting of bail to Nizam Khan and also suggested to one of the investigators that Imran Khan, who was accused of disorderly behavior at CID, be released on his own recognizance.
I can't recall what who bailed me, sir. I was frustrated. I can't remember that, sir.
Where were you bailed?
I don't know where I was bailed, but the lady told me I was bailed.
They told you were bailed and you were where when they told you that?
Yes, sir.
Where were you when they told you that?
At CID headquarters.
CID headquarters.
Yes, sir.
As it relates to his brother, Imran Khan, Nizam sought to distance himself from his brother.
Was it you that got the 3 policemen fired?
3 police, 4 police, sir.
Oh yes, you just brag about that, don't you?
No, sir.
Well, tell me about the 4 policemen you got
They
fired.
arrest me for offense. They tell me, and I don't know nothing about it. I tell them they're arresting me wrongfully, and they start chucking me and beating me up. And
And
go
you-
in my pocket.
And you get your brother to call the boys
No, sir.
and get them fired, yeah?
No, sir. When we reached the station, they continued beating me in front of two police, 2 corporal went there.
And there was you and how much other witnesses?
Me and how much other witness?
Yeah, how much other witnesses are there?
That they beat me up?
Yeah.
The police them see they beat me up at the station
no,
and the
forget about the
camera.
police. How much other civilian or independent?
It had people
witnesses?
around when they was beating me, sir.
And then people come forward and
I
say
don't know,
something?
sir. I can't recall.
But you got them 4 policemen fired.
They make themselves get fired
Nah,
because they
you-
talk in court that they kick up me and beat me up, sir.
You got them fired, and actually what y'all do is y'all go back into the CID. You and your brother went back into the CID on the 29th, and y'all tell them policemen if they didn't charge failure, y'all would get y'all boys seal out to fire them. Then y'all do that.
We never went to no CID and tell no police not met
I'm
that,
gonna
sir.
suggest your brother did, and you as well.
I don't know if my
exert
brother
that
do
influence.
that. You have to ask him, sir.
The inquiry continues on Wednesday. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Meanwhile, Commissioner of Police Silal Prasad, under cross-examination from attorney Selwyn Peters, denied that he had neglected his duty during the reported investigation launched by the police. Even though the police were given a copy of the recording prior to it being aired on national television, the commissioner told inquiry that he saw no reason to review the disc. Watch.
Commissioner of Police, now that you've seen the video, has that video refreshed your memory in terms of the interview that you conducted?
Yes, it did.
And when you made those comments to Mr. Leroy Smith to the effect that Mr. Chase did not bring the video to the attention of the police, were you lying?
No, I wasn't.
Were you? Well, I'm going to suggest that you were.
No, I wasn't.
The video was already in the possession of the police.
I was not aware of it.
Were you willfully blind?
I was not in all the reports that were submitted to me on this matter, both oral and written reports. Mention was never made.
You see, that's the problem, because I questioned you when you were supposed to transmit that memo to the National Security Committee. I asked you specifically whether you asked for the file to review the entire file, and you said, oh, that's not my function. That was what your evidence was a few minutes ago.
Yes, it was.
And I'm going to suggest to you that you were willfully blind. You didn't want to know what was in that file.
That is not true. I'm not even sure that there's anything regarding that tape that is in the
It
file.
was. Look, Assistant Commissioner of Police Laundering testified that he received the DVD and a memo from Assistant Commissioner James, and he transmitted that memo together with the DVD to Senior Superintendent Blanham.
That doesn't say that it's in the file.
Well, I'm going to suggest to you that it was part of the investigation, wasn't it?
I don't know that.
You
and I
spoke
don't know.
about credibility being an issue.
Yes.
And that would have been a part of the issue of testing credibility.
Let me go back this way. If Gillard said anything there that he didn't say to the police, it would have been additional information. If he said the same thing that was said to the police, then they already has that. The tape becomes irrelevant.
All right, you got a chance now to walk back on your comments that you made about Travis Chase and HGTV 19 News. You're going to apologize?
I will apologize.
Do it now.
I'm not
Yes,
aware
Travis.
until this inquiry started. When I made those remarks, I totally wasn't. And if you were there, you did not say that you did that either. And I would have apologized even there.
You haven't. I don't take that as an apology. You haven't
I-
apologized for the false information that you put in the public.
Let me, Mr. Animal, before you speak, I don't think this is a forum for that. And please, Mr. Peters, just continue with the questions.
Yes, thank you very much.
Residents of Essequibo Coast are assured of light at the end of the tunnel. That confirmation is coming from the Minister of Public Infrastructure, David Patterson.
The Essequibo Coast has been experiencing a spate of blackouts recently, reportedly due to the faulty power unit at Anna Regina Power Station. In light of this, Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson on Thursday confirmed to the National Assembly that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
We've procured 3 brand new sets for Anna Regina. We're doing a brand new power station in there. They're manned 1.8 megawatts each man sets from Germany. They will be arriving in the country in October. The switch gears and all other associated equipment.
The minister noted that the power outlets will be fully functional by December.
There will be, and unfortunately, there will be some scheduled outages, and the scheduled outages, sir, is to convert. As you know, Essequibo has 2 voltage systems. There are 50 cycles. Mr. Damon knows that one side, and there are 60 cycles. And the intention is always, sir, to have the one particular voltage when by the time the new set is there. So we will be doing some conversions between now and the installation of new sets.
He went on to say that the Ministry of Public Infrastructure will ensure that maintenance work is carried out on the 20-year-old power unit stationed at Anna Regina until the new units arrive. Reporting for HGP Nightly News, Ayana George.
Thank you, Ayana. The Carbon Development Bank has signaled its intent to do more for the University of Guyana. Kristen Macklingam is on this story.
The University of Guyana continues to play a role in providing quality education to as many persons as it can, but it still needs more development. That's according to President of the Caribbean Development Bank, Dr. William Warren Smith. He says that UG's issues are on the front burner for the CDB as well.
We provided a technical assistance grant for the upgrading of your governance arrangements some years ago. And I'm pleased to say that some of those things have been implemented. And more recently, there was a CDB team in here having discussions with the government of Guyana. And the University of Guyana and its circumstances were very much on the table.
Dr. Smith explained that Guyana has encountered difficult times over the past years, but still managed to make it through, and that the CDB recognizes this.
We also remember the tough times that Guyana went through, when it was difficult to pay the debt service, but Guyana never ever missed a payment.
The CDB president added that with regards to the troubles being faced at the University of Guyana, his organization will be providing assistance in the near future and in years to come.
We're going to be doing some business with UG, and we're going to do even more business with UG down the road.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingam.
Thanks for staying tuned to the HGP Nightly News. Companies are being encouraged to practice more skills training for their staff to not only benefit their work production output, but help individuals develop themselves to better contribute to the country's development. Kristen Macklingam has more.
Though companies and businesses do allow some training for staff, it is better if there is room for ongoing training in various areas, so as to allow persons the opportunity of learning and bettering new skills that they can use elsewhere. That's according to Social Cohesion Minister Dr. George Norton.
We've had companies that came into this country, worked for a very long period of time, left, and we're not so certain what we were left with here in this country.
Minister Norton stated that when persons are taught new skills and trained in specialized fields, they become more marketable, and regardless of which company they work for, they can practice what they are taught.
The surest way of teaching us to fish is by training us so that we can fish for a lifetime.
According to Minister Norton, outlying areas should not be forgotten by companies and businesses. Areas such as Lethem, which he says is developing by leaps and bounds. Investments will ensure that these places develop at an even faster pace and help the country move forward.
I can imagine a relationship between the residents or the companies like Romanex that has to do with the Marudi Mountains in Lethem area would certainly go a far way of helping to develop that area.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingam.
Ayana George now takes us to the National Park for Emancipation Day activities.
Guyanese turned out in their numbers on Tuesday to celebrate Emancipation 2017. Nightly News took its camera to the National Park, where several booths were set up depicting the significance of emancipation. Founder of the Ghana Reparation Committee, Eric Phillips, explains more about this day.
The significance of emancipation hasn't been well understood by all Guyanese, because after emancipation in 1838, in which 84,035 Africans were freed, other groups came here. First the Portuguese, then Indians, and then, of course, the Chinese. So emancipation really was the beginning of Guyana becoming a nation of six peoples. And it's not only that significant, none of the others came here enslaved. So emancipation is about the beginning of Guyana, it's about nation building.
He emphasized the importance of all Guyanese to work together as ancestors did.
Mankind began in Ethiopia, so every person, regardless of color or creed, evolved out of Africa. As they moved further south, further north, it became colder. So their hair started to grow to protect the skin, the eyes started to change, you started to get lighter.
Several booths displayed various cultural pieces and cuisine. Minister within the Ministry of Social Protection, Keith Scott, believes that emancipation offers the opportunity for all races to bond. Here's more.
It's not just only that the Africans who were freed are celebrating today, but is that Guyana, all Guyana, is joining first of all in celebrating with them, and in the second instance, the opportunities that we can say that you are my brother and I'm your brother, and therefore happy emancipation to all Guyanese.
A happy emancipation to all of Guyana. From the National Park, reporting for HGP Nightly News, Ayana George.
Good evening, I'm Stanford Howard, the AGP Sportscast. We tell you now the Georgetown Amateur Basketball Association Banks DIH sponsored league continue on Saturday at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall on Homestretch Avenue with 3 games. Here's Calvin Chapman with the details.
The first game began at 5:30 p.m. and it witnessed Plaisance Guardians fall into second-placed Pacesetters 77-66 in the under-23 category. Pacesetters were led by a spirited performance by Quincy Dos Santos, who scored a game-high 27 points that included a whopping 6 three-pointers. Tafawa Daly was very involved in the Pacesetters win as well, with 17 points counting 2 three-pointers along the way. Marvin Durant, 10 points, and Stephen Peters, 8 points, ensured that Pacesetters stayed in the race to achieve a surprise under-23 championship berth with valuable contributions. Plaisance Guardians, who led the game in the first quarter 18-11, surrendered their advantage in the second quarter and never retrieved it. Jared Sears played well with a team-high 21 points, inclusive of 3 three-pointers, supported with 15 points, inclusive of 2 three-pointers from Anthony Feline in the losing battle. The second match of the evening was a first division encounter between the struggling Cobras and Knights. The Cobras won that battle of the minnows 77-55. Travis Burnett led the fight with 15 points for Cobras, supported by Patrick Reed 10 points and Keith Toot 9 points. For Knights, Kester Gomes scored 15 points and Lloyd Bart had 10 points. Match 3. Nets delivered a loss to the University of Guyana Trojans in the third match on Sunday. The first division encounter finished 69-51. In the Nets' 18-point win, their top scorers in the game were Peter Doris with 11 points, Tristan Bullock with 8 points, and Wadia Stewart 8 points. For the University of Guyana Trojans, Jacob Lowe scored a game-high 15 points with 1 three-pointer.
In cricket, Guyanese Sachin Singh has been named to lead a 40-man West Indies under-15 invitational squad on a 6-match limited over tour of England starting next month. The left-hand opener was among the leading scorers in last year's regional under-15 championship and joined the likes of Barbadian batsmen Seth Agard and Matthew Ford, along with Trinidadian off-spinner Tarkar Mohammed and Jamaica left-arm spinner Rajiv Reddy, all of whom were top performers in the tournament. Cricket West Indies chief selector Courtney Brown said the tour was designed to prepare this age group for higher-level international cricket. It has been widely recognized that our talent pool is limited in the Caribbean, so the CWI has taken steps to give opportunities to our young players and encourage them to remain in the game, Brown said. A trip like this is designed to get players ready for what is to come on the international pathway as they make the step up through the youth levels and onto the senior stage. So we are eagerly looking forward to see how much they have progressed. The under-15s will play a 35-over side match against Sunbury Academy at Sunbury Cricket Club on August 9th, before taking on an age group opponent in 650-over game from August 9th to 20th. Former Jamaican and West Indies batsman Robert Samuels will manage the side with former West Indies seamer Corey Collymore and Rohan Nurse as coaches. Tell you now internationally, Los Angeles has officially declared it to host the 2028 Olympic Games, leaving Paris to stage the 2024 edition. In June, the International Olympic Committee voted to name hosts for a successive game, with just Paris and Los Angeles bidding. but it was unclear which host in which year. Both had wanted to host the 2024 event. The IOC welcomed Los Angeles' move, pledging to contribute US $1.8 billion to the organizing committee. For Los Angeles to have accepted the 2028 Games, there would have to been some significant financial benefit that outweighed the benefits of hosting in 2024. The funds will include money to pay for extended planning period and to support youth sport programmers leading up to the Games. Los Angeles has staged the Olympic twice in 1932 and 1984. That's all we have in tonight's Sportscast. Over to you, Travis.
Nizam Khan takes COI stand, denies offering money to kill President Granger. Light at the end of the tunnel for Essequibo Coast residents, says Minister Patterson. And murder of prison officer Odinga Wickham. Escapee Yuri Varswick identified as the shooter. Those were our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.